Hi guys, Gary Sibbs here and back with the last preview for the upcoming Cheltenham 2020 festival. So we're on to day 4, which is the final day, the Friday, and obviously the Gold Cup day, the pinnacle of all the racing. You know, all the racing's done up to this point, and we have the biggest race of all left to come. The obviously the main event. I hope you enjoyed watching the previews. I will be back after this, probably back now with final selections in a couple of weeks. The day before each of the races. I don't think there'll be much to come in between, but feel free to ask for anything that you feel like you want to hear. I said I might do a video at the end on all of the handicaps. I'm not going to do that. Simply, I'm just not going to have the time to go into them in as much depth as I would like to. So this will be the last one of the previews. As I say, we're on to the Friday, and we kick off on the Friday with the Triumph Hurdle. A race down the years for myself, where I can only remember having one winner in the last few years, and that was actually a decent 9-to-1 far class. And to be honest, it wasn't one I'd picked out myself. It was I can't know if it was actually a daily nap, but it was a horse well talked up by David Jennings. Was it David Jennings? I think it might have been David Jennings, one of the pundits on the telly, and I simply backed it for that reason. Nothing that I'd seen myself in the race, and that obviously went on and won. It wasn't David Jennings actually. I can't remember who it was. It'll come to me in a minute. So yeah, that's it. That's the only time I've actually won this one in a few. It's been a race down the years when you look through it that's chucked up some. But the last 2 winners have been a 20-to-1 shot and a 9-to-1 shot. We had 3 winners in behind that were favourite, 5-to-2, 9-to-2, 2-to-1 favourites. Then we had a 10-to-1 shot, believe it or not. So, a horse you might have heard of called Tiger Roll once won this at 10-to-1. So yeah, it's been up and down in the betting a bit. Yeah, we move on to this year, and it's a horse. It's a race. Nicky Henderson has found quite lucrative over the years. Nicky Henderson's won this race 4 out of the last 12. 8 out of the last 12 have been in the top 3 of the betting. So besides the odd 9-to-1, 20-to-1, there has been towards the top of the betting, as a few of these races tend to chuck up. But like I say, the last 2 have obviously been decent prices, so I wouldn't, don't look too much into the fact that you're going to have something at the top of the market on this. It's proved recently that you don't necessarily have to. That said, my anti-post selection for this race, I don't have the price I tipped it up at in front of me, was Goshen. Goshen is now the 4-to-1 favourite for this. He's 4 out of 4 this season with 3 wins over the Timber, and he's won by a combined total of 68 lengths in them 3 races. Massive. He's won like 11 lengths, 20 odd lengths, and 20 odd lengths. Or maybe even 30 lengths in the first one over hurdles. And I've in one of the WhatsApp groups, I've been discussing this a little bit, and I think it's a really, really solid bet. 4-to-1, it's still good value on a horse if you're really confident that horse is going to win. For me, I think this is going to come down to the top 2 in the betting. I really like a horse further back in this, Away for the Sea, that obviously came up the other day, about a week ago, when Aspire Tower fell. But being honest, he finished really strong that day, Away for the Sea. Really, really strong. It was Barry Gary was on board. He held on till the last minute, and the afterburners the horse showed were really good. but I would hope he would go to a handicap. I don't think he'll be quite good enough to win this. And I'm hoping that Joseph O'Brien sends, because he's got Cerebus that Away with the Sea beat that day. But I think it seemed as though when Aspire Tower fell, Cerebus just looked a little bit lost out front, and then once Away with the Sea got in front again, he tried to come back and actually rallied on a little bit, but by this point he'd been beat. I did see a little note on a website earlier on today where Joseph O'Brien was talking about these two, and he said they both hold entries in, I can't remember which of the handicaps it was in this one, but he'll make a decision close to the time. But just judging by what was said in each of them, I didn't think that either him, Barry Geraghty, or Barry Geraghty sounded overly confident in this one that they would win here. So I think that I'm hoping Away with the Sea goes to the handicap. I do think it's down to the top two in the betting, and that's like Goshen and All Mankind is where I'm looking at this. They're two really, really good horses. Quite hard to split them. There's not a lot splitting them in the price, 4-1, 9-2. But it's the form of Goshen that will give it for me. Like I say, 3 wins over hurdles this year, 3 runs, 3 wins. His last run has been backed up massively in form. The second place, Nordano, which is another one to keep an eye out for. That horse has done decent since, and looks like it will go to the Fred Winter. So that's one to keep an eye out in that race. That, believe it or not, that's probably the race where Away with the Sea is going to go as well. But Nordano looks like a decent horse. I haven't actually had a look what ratings are out on them, but based on that, I would be really interested in that in a handicap. But like I say, Goshen hammered Nordano that day. I think the win was by about 11 lengths, and since then Nordano's gone on to win his next outing, and also a horse in 4th place called Homer for Nicky Henderson has gone on to win since as well. So that's backed up Goshen's form really well. Yet Homer came out and won at Kempton. So like I say, Goshen's form has been backed right in on that, and sticking with my anti-post selection. Like I say, really, really glad. Again, should have really looked, but 4-1, he was certainly a bit bigger than that when I put him up. And yeah, you go down to Aspire Tower, like I say, fell last day. I can't really have him. There's not too many horses out there that I think can come into this off the back of a fall and produce the goods in anything at the festival. Champ might be an exception for me, but then I was searching in behind Away with the Sea and Cerebus, and just couldn't find anything basically. So yeah, Goshen 4-1, best bet in the Triumph Hurdle, and go on to the Albert Bartlett. Albert Bartlett, really poor for looking at the top end of the market. Stay away from your favourites. Your favourites have done really poor in this one over the years. And that doesn't bode well for my selection, to be honest. But that's where we are. Only 3 of the last 12 have been in the top 3 of the betting, throwing up some right prices. Just to read out to you, the last, we'll go with the last 4 or 5. 50-1, 33-1, 16-1, 11-1, 14-1, 33-1. So, absolute nightmare to pick a winner from here. But I am thinking it could be one where we chuck up a bit of a favourite, because as much as I'm gutted because I put him up for the Ballymore, I think Time Hill could end up going here. If Time Hill goes here, I think he wins. I have to back him wherever he goes because I really like the horse. I would prefer him in the Ballymore, but I think he'll end up going here, and I would be backing him to win. There's a couple of other horses, the Big Breakaway, the Big Getaway, dual entries, as a lot of horses have. I don't think, certainly the Big Getaway, yeah, the big getaway won't end up going here, I don't think, but the big breakaway could. He'd be an interesting one at this. One I tipped up in my anti-post, thinking that Time Hill was going there, is Joseph O'Brien's Home by the Lee. I don't know what went wrong last time out. This horse died a death the last time out, but I really liked it before that, leading up to it, and if it can regain a bit of form at a huge price of about 40 to 1, I'd be interested to see how he would do. He's in some of my each way selections, but just that last race just really threw a spanner in the works as far as I'm concerned. There's a horse by Willie Mullins that hasn't actually done it at the distance of 3 mile for this race, called A1. I'd be interested in a little bit. He's 2 out of 3, but only over 2.5 miles. He's got ran an RPR last year, 143. He'd be another interesting horse if Willie Mullins feels like he's got enough firepower in the others to send him here. But yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see what goes here. It's quite a difficult one for me, this race at the minute. I find it quite hard to pick one out. Latest exhibition could end up here. 3 from 4 this season. He's won over 2 miles 6. Beaten Cobbler's Way, so he'll be an interesting one as well. He's up there in the betting, I think, currently around. He is around 8 to 1 at the minute, so he'd be of interest. But as much as it's thrown up all the big winners over the years, I'll be sticking with Time Hill if he goes here. If he doesn't go here, I'm probably struggling for a little bit of a selection, and I'd probably stick a little dabble back on Home by the Lee and hope he can reverse the form he showed last time out. Monkfish is in here for Willie Mullins at the top of the market, 6 to 1 as well. He's a horse I just can't really get behind. Another one of them, I keep saying it regular way. Second on his seasonal reappearance at Fairy House, and then he's won 2 since. But he's won by quite a long way, 11 lengths and 20 lengths. He has won a 3 mile point to point, so that probably stacks up really well here. You can't knock that form, to be honest. But it's just one of them horses. I just can't get away with him. I have a few of them, and he's one, I'm afraid. So yeah, all I can say is, with regards to this, if you can find something higher up in the betting that looks really good, go for it, because it does chuck up a good long shot. But for me, Time Hill ends up here because of Sporting John going to the Ballymore, then that'll be my pick for the day, as much as he would be favourite. That's a 5 to 1 shot. If you end up with a 5 to 1 shot and a 4 to 1 shot on Gosham before that, might be a nice little double to start your Gold Cup day off with. And then obviously the other main event for the day is the one that everyone will be waiting on, the biggest race of the festival in the Gold Cup. I don't know if this is a brilliant renewal of this year, or a pretty I wouldn't say woeful, but for me there's about the top end of the betting that is where you want to be. There's only one horse at a bigger price that I'm interested in. The rest of them are all at the top end of the market. Albone Photo, I'd like to say, why alter what's worked for you? He's taken the same route that he took last year. He won last year. He's won the same race as his comeback race, and he's gone straight to the festival. So you can't knock that form. Last year, I feel it was played into his hands a little bit with how the race was run, and Ken Boy went early on out. I tipped up Ken Boy in my anti-post bets, but fortunately, I expect for Ken Boy to be winning it. I expected him to beat Delta Work the last day. I give him the excuse the first time. It was his seasonal reappearance, but I think this last shot when he had it Delta Work, I backed him, and I thought he had to win that to go on and become Gold Cup champ. So I've kind of left that one where it is. I'm pretty disappointed with that one, to be honest. Santini is a horse that I just cannot get behind. I don't know what it is about that horse, but I never ever back him. I always go against him. Form reads really well, but at 4 to 1, so for me, he's not good enough to be. If he's good enough to win a Gold Cup, then the others have gone wrong somewhere. Delta Work, is for me the best value in the market at 6-1. You cannot knock the form. He has beat some class horses this year. And I put a poll out on Twitter earlier on, and I would be 100% of the opinion that for me, with Jack Kennedy's obviously injured, got injured the race after Delta Works last win. If I were David Russell, I would be abandoning my Presenting Percy ride and jumping aboard Delta Work. For me, Presenting Percy doesn't stand a cat and hell's chance of winning this race, and winning Gold Cups are few and far between for jockeys. So if I was him, I would be jumping straight on Delta Work and leaving Presenting Percy back in the stables. 6-1, you can't knock a 6-1 winner. I think he'll be right up there in the mix. If he doesn't win, he'll certainly be in the places for me. And him and Alboom Photo are two that I could not knock anybody for betting. The other two that I would be interested in, there's 4 horses I'm interested in this race. The next one is Lost in Translation. For me, you can just put a line through his last run. It was well done. I don't even know why they went to Kempton, to be honest, because it was quite well documented beforehand. It's a course that doesn't suit the horse. The tight turns, and I love Lost in Translation. He's one of my top horses, but I didn't back him that day. I said he wouldn't come anywhere, and he never. Put that race out of it, like I say, draw a line through it, and he's been in the top 3 in his last 9 races. He's won 4 of them. He's rated 173. He's a fantastic horse. I think he's good value at 7-1, and I think he'll be right up there. And in terms of a win bet, very close between him and Delta Work for me, but I would probably be just siding with Lost in Translation, just because I think the course will suit. I think he's got obviously proven Cheltenham form, and I think he's a great horse, and I really like him, and he would be my win bet for the Gold Cup. Clanderzobo, sick of saying it to people. Clanderzobo is 0 from 5 at Cheltenham. I know they keep brushing off this left-handed thing, but it is a factor that he has never won left-handed. I don't know how you can brush it off when he's not won left-handed. I heard up in the ante today, I think it was David Jennings was saying that, I got a bit unlucky last year or whatever. I went to watch the race back, and I don't really think he did. I just don't think he was good enough. And of any year that he should have been good enough, last year should have been it. So I can't see Clanderzobo reversing that form and getting... He was 5th last year, and I can't see him being any higher up this year. Kenboy, unfortunately, he's going to have to improve massively. I'm really disappointed in him. He's honestly, I've got him in so many bets. I love the horse. I love Kenboy. And to be honest, I'll be absolutely kicking myself if he goes and romps up, because I think if he'd have stood up, he would have won last year. I know that's a massive thing, he fell at the first, but he didn't fall actually, he slipped after the hurdle, which there is a bit of a difference there. But I think he's a very dangerous horse back on his game, but beaten twice by Delta Work now. He's going to have to find something big style, and I don't really know what he's going to find. Like I say, Presenting Percy, might as well leave him at home for me. He can't win a Gold Cup in my opinion. Monolith, not that keen on, but a horse I am really keen on that will run here, and I've been on about him on Twitter for a little bit. I have got him in an each way double with Super Sunday for the Champion Hurdle, both at the same price of 33-1. I think Bristol de May is massively overpriced here. He, like I say, he's a horse that's proven he's not a one-trick pony at Haydock. He finished 2nd to Santini at Cheltenham the last day by 3 lengths. Now, Santini beat him by 3 lengths. Yeah, he's 33-1 and Santini's 4-1. So I can't be having that as and Santini was £2 lighter in the weight that day. So you make that what you will. He obviously last year he was third in this race in the Gold Cup. Talbot Photo went on to Aintree, but he was I think he'd had a really hard race at Cheltenham, and I just don't think Aintree. I think Aintree just came around a couple of weeks too soon for him. Obviously, he was, people say he was a haydock specialist because that's where he tended to win beforehand. But, you know, he's had seconds at Aintree. He had, obviously, he was beaten by Lost in Translation at Haydock as ground specialist, which is something that backs up my Lost in Translation win bet. But I think he could be right in the mix. I think, obviously, he's got Album Photo, in my opinion, Album Photo, Lost in Translation, and Delta Work are 3 horses. He's got to beat one of them to get in the each way placings. On the day, you'll probably get 4 places, 5 places, and if you can get 25 to 1 plus for Bristol to Mate on 4 or 5 places, I think he's an absolute knocking bet. He'll certainly be up there and he'll run his race for me. Other than that, I don't think there's an awful lot in the betting that takes my fancy. I don't think there's much, you know, big prices that can run it. Our yard obviously had Topville Ben entered in there. He's been pulled out. They're waiting for the Grand National with him. So it'll be from me, it'd be good luck to all them lads in the Grand National. I think they've done right in doing that. Yeah, so that's where I am with the Gold Cup, and that's where I am with day 4 of the festival. Now, just to tell you all a little bit of a handicap one that may come into play. We have a horse that runs our same colours as Lady Button. And someone I say we, I mean my parents, and he's a horse, a 2.5 mile hurdler that could end up running in the Martin Pipe. He ran in the Martin Pipe last year, and it all went to ratchet because he ended up with a standing start, and he cannot do standing starts. And we knew as soon as the standing start was done. However, the wetter, the better. If it comes up a bog on Friday, stick in your notebook a horse called Saki City. He'll be a big price. He's ran some absolute blinders this year. He is a little bit hard, not hard to figure out. But he's very specific with the ground that you have to get for him. Like I say, he will need a bog, and I mean like as really soft. But I mean he'll run soft, but if it's heavy, then even better for him. So depending on, I mean, look at the weather we're having at the minute. It's really poor. If that carries on for a bit, then we could end up getting some really soft weather come the Cheltenham. And if it gets to Friday and it's heavy out there, then don't write him off if he ends up going. He will only go if the conditions are right for him. He came second at Wetherby, and then he won at Wetherby this year. Then we tried to step him up to 3 mile, where that didn't work. Went back down to 2 mile 3, back at Wetherby again, and came second. So, like I say, last year he was 15th last year, but the standing start totally knackered him. Phil Kirby, the trainer, said straight away, "Oh God, that's got to be us knackered here." So yeah, if things can, if we've got heavy rain and a bit of a bog out there, just keep him in your notebook. Might be worth a bit of an each way punt in the last race of the festival to get you some money in. But like I say, pretty specific on conditions required. I hope them stupid standing starts don't come about again, which is a discussion for another day and should not be a part of racing, in my opinion. But yeah, that's where we are with day 4. That's the final preview video. I will I tell you what I will do, I'll probably put up a video maybe just discussing a bit about Lady Buttons' race when it's actually decided what race she's going to go in. I might just preview that one race in a bit more depth and a bit of an angle as to where I think she can do the business in that race. But that could be really close. That could be as close as the final selections video. So whether I mix it in with one of them, we'll see. But yeah, thanks for watching. Your comments have all been really appreciated on the videos. I am somebody who you know, you're giving me your opinions and stuff, and I totally appreciate that. It's each to their own. These are just my views. But the three, just to recap, the three main races today: the Triumph, I will be 100% behind Goshen, really strong fancy. The Albert Bartlett, if he goes there, Time Hill. If not, I don't really have much of a fancy. I'd stick a very small each way on Home by the Lee with a bit of hope that he'll regain some form. I'm taking it he's still going to go there. I haven't read much since then. And in the Gold Cup, I think I'll be back in Lost in Translation still. Picked him out quite a while ago, but I'm really impressed with the form of Delta Work, and I think Bristol to May is a massively overpriced each way bet. So yeah, that's where we are. Thanks for watching again. Speak to some of you in the comments, and if you're following any of my bets, good luck to you. Hope it brings some profit your way and some luck, and can't wait to get to Cheltenham now. Good luck, guys.